The Realm Lords, the Lumineth call themselves, for their mastery over the lands is unrivaled. These numinous beings, the elven scions of the twin gods Tyrion and Teclis, have scintillating magic in their blood. They have dwelt long in Hysh, the realm of light, where enlightenment and skill saturates the very air. The Lumineth have absorbed so much of this innate potential that, when at war, they glow with lambent power. To face their war hosts in battle is to face a barrage of magic, a forest of blades, a crashing assault of elemental wrath. That claim of mastery also carries a deadly arrogance. The Lumineth come in glory, but they hail from a broken land. Their elegant spires toppled and their statuary crumbled in the dust of a dead empire. The stories tell that it was the scourge of chaos that ravaged Hysh, that the transformation of the 10 paradises into spell-haunted ruin was unavoidable, but it was a terrible civil war that opened the door. Since the time of the reinvention, the Lumineth have made their peace with the lands they call home. Now they go to war in all the splendor of bygone days. The warrior Venari phalanx is gleaming bright, catching the blinding rays of magic sent searing out by the gifted Skinari caste. Alongside them march the warriors of the elementary temples, those who have bonded in mind, body, and spirit with the geomantic entities of their shattered homelands. Most majestic of all are the towering avatars of those magical places, the war forms of Hysh itself. All those who threaten the Lumineth's agenda will be mercilessly removed from existence. The Lumineth fight a war for reality itself, and in that war, there could be no sacrifice too great. Hello my friends, and welcome back. Today I have a new army for you. Now if you remember my Spearhead Roulette video from a little while back, the time has come. I spun the wheel, and I'm an elf player now, which I'm quite excited about. The Lumineth are very cool. Now with this Spearhead Roulette game, I wanted to take this opportunity to challenge myself and go out of my comfort zone with a paint job and try something I normally don't do. So for my paint job and my army's color scheme, I'm using Elden Ring as an inspiration for this, because that is a game I am absolutely terrible at, but the character design, the colors, everything is so inspiring to me. I love how it looks, and I wanted to get that dark fantasy feel and paint these elves so they look like you could place them right in that world. To start us off with our Lumineth Realm Lord lore, I thought we'd go over the origins of the elves and kinda get their vibe. So for that, let's dive into their battle tome. Graceful of mind as well as body, the Lumineth Realm Lords are the quintessence of all that is elven. Their speech is eloquent and their mastery of arcane matters supreme, for the 10 paradises of Hysh have blessed them with uncanny intellect. The Lumineth consider themselves the most advanced of all living creatures, and they would gladly devote their entire existence to the furtherance of their own fields of expertise. But since the disasters of the Age of Chaos, they have recognized the need to take up arms in defense of the mortal realms, lest the cosmos be torn to shreds by the dark gods. In battle, the Realm Lords fight with impressive precision. Each pinpoint thrust of the blade, each weaving evasion, each step and stride is executed with the poise and confidence of a master fencer. Their spells are crafted with expert skill. Beams of light and darts of pure energy searing out to strike with unerring accuracy. For to the Lumineth, a spell is not a weapon, but an art form. It is not rage or battle lust that drives the elves of Hysh to such lethality, but painstaking logical analysis. Only now, as the Age of Sigmar takes hold, is the true power of the Hyshian elves becoming clear. Sent to war by Archmage Teclis and his brother Tyrion, the Lord of Illumination, They fight to change history with each new battle. Where once they fought as individuals, they now do so as superbly disciplined phalanxes of warriors. Their archers and mages work in concert, harrying the foe from afar with blistering magic and expert marksmanship, before their pike-wielding kin impale their survivors on the white-hot tips of their blades. Those who prove strong or numerous enough to endure against the rank and file are ridden down by elite cavalry mounted on sleek chargers, or smashed to pieces by the elementary disciples of the Hessian temples and their war spirit allies. The Lumineth have a dark history, falling from the light into darkness of their own creation. They came back from the brink, however, and in doing so found themselves able to see flaws that had remained hidden even under the ever-present light of Heesh. Since the time of atonement known as the Reinvention, the Lumineth have made peace with the lands they call home, yet there still remains a kernel of hubris that they cannot acknowledge, or perhaps cannot even see. Truly, it is said that the Lumineth see furthest of all, yet are blinded by their own brilliance. For though they are quick to judge those they see as inferior, all too often they cannot perceive the flaws in their own diamond-bright souls. The Lumineth have long shunned emotion, for the prevailing opinion is that it clouds the mind and detracts from the perfection of pure thought. Worse still, powerful emotion may lead to the incarnation of echoes into the ether, as exemplified by Slaanesh's demons and the forbidden works of elven scholars who have dabbled in summonation. They believe that a soul inflamed by anger will act hastily, even rashly, just as one in the thrall of compassion might act in a fashion that saves one life but endangers many more. Given their aloof and inscrutable manner, the Hessian elves have made many enemies, even in times of peace. For long millennia, the Lumineth fought only for their secluded homelands, since they believed all the other realms to be poor cousins by comparison. In the wider realms, the Elves of Heesh have a reputation as a deadly and unpredictable race. For should they deem a particular settlement to be standing in the way of their wider goals, they will obliterate it with neither hesitation nor explanation. The very detachment that the Lumineth prize was once proven to be a grave weakness. To devalue emotion to the point of burying it altogether is to invite disaster, as shown by the great cataclysm of the Spirefall that marked the dawn of the Age of Chaos in Heesh. The repression of the Lumineth's true desires flared up into spiteful feelings, then sabotage, then open violence. This was no usual civil war. It was a magical apocalypse that ravaged every one of the 10 paradises and tore down much of the glorious empire the elves have built. Since then, the Lumineth have been forced to radically change their outlook and the way they use the resources of Heesh. The magical realm stone, known as Aether Quartz in particular. They have recently achieved symbiosis with the realm, working in concert with it rather than seeking to transcend it, as they did throughout the Age of Myth. Led in this new direction by Lord Teclis, Master of the Arcane, the Lumineth go to war alongside the avatars of the Realm of Light itself. By uniting with the power of Heesh, the Lumineth war machine has been invigorated. Now with the elemental manifestations of River, Mountain, Wind, and Zenith in league with them, and even fighting alongside them in their war forms, they are more dangerous than ever. The armies of the Lumineth are formed largely of citizen warriors. Each of the elves that forms their military has a rich and fulfilling life outside of the call of battle. Indeed, were it not for the dire state of the realms and the omnipresent threat that is chaos, it is likely that they would not go to war at all. The vast majority of the Lumineth prefer to spend their time in pursuits of mind and soul, rather than of the body, and physical conflict has always been seen as rather brutish and unrefined in the high society of the elves. Since the passing of the Decree Tyrionic, a diktat laid down at the dawn of the Age of Sigmar, each of Heesh's nations maintained a standing army of Venari, a war host with exhaustive training in military theory. Led by the Skinari mage caste, they seek to twin the magic of the spirit with the excellence of the body, Just as the gods Teclis and Tyrion reflected two sides of the same soul, the elemental principles of the Hesian moons are coupled with those of the symbiotic sun to provide a greater form of illumination than taken in isolation. This is the key to a truly balanced soul. Realizing that the fate of the mortal realms hangs in the balance, the Elves of Hesh have struck out into war for reality itself. With foresight and skill, the Lumineth have systematically pushed back the Chaos Invaders from many of the corrupted regions of the Ten Paradises. Buoyed by their victories thus far, they have journeyed through dozens of realm gates in order to bring their wisdom to the other mortal realms. In the wake of each victory, the Lumineth used geomantic magic to purify the lands, performing arcane rites to engrave vast symbols across them, and thereby ensure they are rendered stable for the betterment of all. To the Realm Lords, whether or not this requires the decimation of their allies' territory is immaterial. Perhaps in overruling and alienating those who would fight for the same cause, they have already overreached themselves. After all, chaos, and particularly their nemesis Slaanesh, is a force that thrives on strife, no matter its provenance. The Realm of Light appears as a bright sun in the skies of all the other realms, illuminating the cosmos until it is eclipsed by the darkness of its twin realm, Ulgu. Both pure light and the essence of enlightenment emanate from Hesh. In other realms, it can be felt as a glow within the mind as well as upon the skin. It can be healing in its own fashion, and brings a purity of thought that can inspire even a witless dullard. Those who hail from Hesh are usually intelligent and quick of thought, but those who climb to the highest mental states of existence may find they regret their ambition a little too late. For that same light, so wondrous in capacity, can blind and bewilder, melting the minds of those who look too long upon it. Those who become besotted with the light of Hesh will find only obsession, addiction, and ultimately annihilation. To find the balance between harnessing that power and remaining pure of soul is the ultimate goal of all true Lumineth. Narquelion of Mithras leapt high, lancing his blade through the last of the flying demons. The human leader stared up at him in awe. His greasy mustache quivered as he searched for the right words. Narquelion fought back his disgust. To purposefully grow hair around one's mouth, it beggared belief. But now was not the time. The portal in the city sprawling below had to be closed, and soon. "Note the classic Dawnrider encirclement," said Narquelion, his finger sketching envelopments in the air that bracketed the glowing rift in the abattoir. "So the city is saved," said the Burgomeister. "Victory has its many meanings," said Narquelion. "Right, but we have them surrounded in the jewelry quarter, and you elves have the butcher's district sewn up. The day is won, the city is saved." Narquelion felt his eyelid twitch. He had taken a demon's claw to the chest that morning, and it had pierced his lung. Even breathing was painful, but he would not show weakness. He would inspire as ever. "There is victory, and there is victory. The portal must be sealed, cauterized." He motioned to his Skinari, and as one they began the rite of banishment. The hideous red wound in reality that pulsed in the dirty human city began to shrink. Bright Skinari runes arced in the twilight air, encircling the portal like satellite bodies orbiting the realm sphere. The Venari infantry, penning in the vile demon creatures that had once butchered the human citizens, were a ring of burning blades and glimmering arrows that drove the hateful creatures back into the hell realm one by one. "Avert your eyes," said Narquelion. He raised his sword and gave the signal to complete the great work. Lines of white fire burned through the districts, scything across the urban sprawl to leave only smoking ruin. Screams rose anew as hundreds of citizens died, but Eloi, a mile-wide symbol of denial, was complete. "Madman!" sputtered the human leader, his eyes bulging. He drew his dagger, but Narquelion was already in motion. His sword's pommel striking the human on the temple so hard it knocked him out cold. "Put him with the rest," said the elf. "Duty calls." And with that, let's head to the spinny shots. The Lumineth Realm Lords. I think they're a very interesting faction with some quite interesting lore. And they give me that vibe of Lord of the Rings elves, but magnified times 1,000, with a very arrogant type of feel and looking to win at all costs a bit. It sounds to me like the perfect type of faction that would find itself well in Elden Ring. So I want to thank you all for listening this long and watching this whole video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. It really helps me out while I'm getting the YouTube off the ground. And if you want to hang out while I paint the stuff live, I stream about 4 nights a week over on Twitch at twitch.tv/drinkyourpaintwaterlive. And the link for that will be in the description. With that, I will see you in the next one.